So now I'm excited to introduce to you Mary Brancaccio. Mary Brancaccio is a teacher and a published poet. More than a dozen of her poems and essays have appeared in a range of print and online journals. She currently teaches English at Livingston High School. Yay, Livingston High School. Mary is completing revisions to her full-length manuscript, Love's Fierce Geometry, which addresses the complexity women face in their roles as lovers, wives, mothers, and daughters. So I'm happy to bring you Mary Brancaccio.
It's really great to be here. I haven't been a feature for a while, and this is really quite a pleasure. I'm reading from my manuscript. There's a saying in poetry that a manuscript is never finished, it's just abandoned. And I think this is nearing abandonment. The first poem I'm going to read involved a time when I was living in London in 1989 as a young mother. And they used to have a gathering for mothers and children at a local park that happened to be right next to the Imperial War Museum. And at the time that we were there, it turned out that my son was considered a minority because his mother had Irish blood. So this is a poem that's sort of for my grandmother who was Irish, and it's called The Children's Park by London's Imperial War Museum. Like a widow outside a circle of wives, I watch my son play as the other mothers who've grown old together in tower flats eye me. One brings me tea in a chipped cup from the mother shack, and we talk, though my accent breaks like discordant notes on her Cockney ear. She carries my news back to her crow-eyed fold. I'm a mystery, queried a moment, like a daguerreotype of a dead aunt in her Sunday best, or a bronze visage on a foreign coin, too far removed from the day's laundry piles and thin soup to matter much. Chill of October surprises with its sudden arrival outside this mausoleum to empire that jails bedlam under brocade and hushed paint. Near its iron gate, a last rose holds its own against the onslaught. So I press my face to it, hear Grandma's song, sweet with its honey of lullaby. Here in this country she loved and despised, its queen and its reach that clawed its way into her mother's house to claim a cousin. I am the child that suckled at the breast of resentment. Some here would take the likes of me and pen me in wired camps, death traps like workhouses for the poor that stole another generation. But I walk these streets free, my boy in my arms, and I know our suitcase lives will not end here in this gray whale that swallowed a world and then spit out what it could not consume.
So I have a few questions for you.
All right, sure.
About your work.
Sure.
So one of your passions is raising awareness about plastic waste. Mm-hmm. What ways can writers be eco-friendly?
Oh my gosh, no plastic bottles at readings. Sorry, that's like, I'm on this campaign, my students know. I think there's ways that writers can remind us of how beautiful our world is. One of the things that scares me greatly in our rush for technology is this kind of fear that we're losing the meaning of Earth and what this planet represents to us. And I think as writers, we have to bear witness to the beauty of the world as we have it, and also remind others that they too have a voice and an ability to do things in their daily lives to make that change happen.
English teachers play a special role in the lives of high school students. I think stronger bonds form in an environment where you can talk about things like societal issues or human emotions through your lessons. Do you often hear from former students, and have any of them gone on to pursue English or writing?
I have a couple. Actually, one of my students published a book of poetry and had done a shout out online that somebody said, "Hey, did you know Michael's giving you a shout out?" But yes, I've had a few students over time. I have students here in the audience here, yay! But to hear from people, "Hey, Ms. B, I'm still doing journaling. I'm still writing." I mean, that matters to me. And I don't care whether you're working as a security guard or you got some job on Wall Street or you got something in between. If you're writing and you're creating, you're in touch with yourself. And I think that's maybe one of the most important things that we can do, is just keep that contact with ourselves and our world to anchor us, because our world doesn't anchor us right now. Our world sets us loose and blinds us to what our reality is.
From what I've seen of your work, I notice there are a lot of personal memories painted out in detail. Can you talk about writing as a way to recall and preserve memory?
Yeah, that's always tricky, right? Like, we know all this research about every time you remember a memory, you rewrite it and you're constantly editing it. And I'm very well aware that my memories may not be somebody else's memories of the same event. Though I'm often surprised that family members who will say, "Damn, you got that right." When I wasn't sure. And I think memory is, for me, a place that is fraught. And other things in my manuscript address that. Right? There's a lot of heartache in memory. There's a lot of pain in memory. And there's a lot of joy. And all of it's important. But I'm also aware that I need to be here, and I need to be here and now. Right? That I need to be more present. And I think that is changing my thoughts about the way we work with memory as writers.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you very much.